Well, good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and start our program. And this year, we are honored to host this event in the Dr. Hallie Gregory Fieldhouse, dedicated in 2019 after a role model, coach, mentor, colleague, and friend to so many. This may be the first time back to the Academy in some years, and I wanted to point out a few changes since your last visit that the generosity of alums, families, and friends have made possible. The first is the Autogram Hall of Athletic Excellence. It was gifted to the Coast Guard Academy in 2016 by the Alumni Association. This gift encompassed the renovation of the football coach's office and the design and modifications to Ballard Hall. And if you haven't been there, I encourage you to take a walk through. The next is the Emilyn Tinelle Strength and Conditioning Center, opened earlier this year, that was officially dedicated last weekend at Parents Weekend. The Parents Association's lead gift of $1 million made this project possible, and we'll hear more about that since many of the past presidents are here with us today. We're so grateful to see you all here. But it's certainly a must-see during your visit. Just head towards the racquetball courts and see the now 8,000 square foot, 2-level space featuring state-of-the-art cardio and strength equipment, all overlooking the Thames River, where 100% of our cadets can train to their highest physical potential. And lastly, our largest effort to date is the construction of the Maritime Center of Excellence, where Pine Hall once stood. This building will provide new capabilities and add capacity to the campus while meeting a broad range of educational, recruitment, outreach, and waterfront operational needs, serving as the maritime front door of the Coast Guard Academy. Now, on to the business of this evening. Tonight, we will honor several individuals, 2 athletic teams, and 1 group of organizational leaders. 5 will be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame, and 8 will receive alumni awards. In 1993, Captain Carl Patel established an endowment to provide a perpetual source of income for this wonderful annual event. The full story is in your homecoming guide, and I know I do not need to remind this group that evenings like this, that recognition like this would not be possible without the generosity of people like Captain Patel. On to our first award. Our first presentation of the evening is the Alumni Achievement Award. Established in 1995, it honors those junior alumni whose noteworthy accomplishments have brought great honor to the Academy and to themselves. This year's recipient is Commander Valerie Boyd, U.S. Coast Guard retired, class of 2001. Commander Boyd led a distinguished career, most notably throughout her command and operational assignments. Always leading from the front, Commander Boyd initially displayed her talents in the newly established Sector New Orleans Command Center, serving as the liaison officer and lead Coast Guard representative on the Joint Search and Rescue Task in 2005 during Hurricane Katrina rescue. She demonstrated extraordinary leadership and responsiveness during the Texas City Y spill and as the Coast Guard liaison officer to FEMA for Hurricanes Matthew, Harvey, Irma, and Maria. Commander Boyd led a diverse team of 50 Coast Guard watch officers to provide situational awareness to executive and cabinet level leaders and coordinated over 100 mission assignments worth over $225 million in disaster relief funding. Commander Boyd recently retired as the Chief Response Department at Coast Guard Sector Long Island Sound, during which she exhibited outstanding compassion and dedication to her shipmates while serving as a lead critical incident stress manager peer during the pandemic. Her efforts swiftly procured resources and mental health treatment for many, likely saving lives and ensuring the readiness of hundreds of Coast Guard members. Val, please come forward to accept the Alumni Association's Alumni Achievement Award.
Good evening, Admiral, distinguished guests, and a special shout out to a couple of my classmates that were able to make it here tonight. It was very much a surprise. I was sitting home on my terminal leave when I got a phone call from retired Vice Admiral Brown letting me know that I won an award, and I was shocked because I had no idea that I was put in for an award. So I think that's the best way to find out that you're being honored, and it was actually my subordinates in the response department at Sector Long Island Sound that put me in for this award. So that's really, to me, what means the most for receiving this. I started my journey in 1997, July 7th, 1997, and Admiral, when you mentioned, I thought you were kind of speaking to me when you were talking about how we like bond with our classmates and we stay with them for life. Well, I did, and he's right there. My husband, the incredible Commander Kevin Boyd, who's been by my side through all of this. Not a single thing that I achieved in my career wasn't achieved without him firmly by my side, and I hope he feels the same about me. But as far as critical incident stress management, after Katrina and after a few other things that happened in my life early in the 2000s, I decided that it was time for me to get back and learn how to support others through difficult times. So in 2006, I went to Pensacola, Florida. It wasn't a boondoggle, I really wanted to go. I went there and I learned how to do critical incident stress management. From there I learned applied suicide intervention skills training, as well as I became a victim advocate for the Coast Guard. So in addition to absolutely loving response operations, search and rescue, law enforcement, pollution response, who doesn't love all of that? I loved our people the most. And I do want to also recognize Master Chief Maria D'Angelo, also a fellow, you knew I was going to, a fellow District 1 lead CISM peer. The pandemic was challenging in so many different ways. We were still a service that was reeling from a government shutdown and so many other challenges. And when the pandemic hit, for those of us that are CISM peers, it was unique because this was a crisis that didn't end. And we're still dealing with that. So, you know, our training really centered around one event that's over, getting our workforce to be healthy and back on their feet. And because this event didn't end, and we couldn't do those face-to-face interventions, and we couldn't see each other, it was really, really difficult for those of us that committed to the mental health of our service. So me, along with so many of our peers, came up with a lot of innovative ideas to do critical incident stress management virtually. And so we really broke the ground here in District 1, and I was honored to be a part of the team that was led by many, many chaplains, including some fabulous chaplains here at the United States Coast Guard Academy, Leslie Cardona, who is our Employee Assistance Program Coordinator, and I can't speak enough. You know, my mother, at one point very early in my career, during Katrina, said, well, who rescues the heroes? Who's there to save the heroes? And I said, well, that's what I want to do. So in addition to loving where I came from, the United States Coast Guard Academy, our missions of the United States Coast Guard, I've dedicated my life now to helping others with mental health. So I'm retired a solid 30 days as of right now. And I feel more comfortable wearing what you're all wearing right now, but here I am in a cocktail dress and had to dye my hair orange so I look Coast Guardish. So no, I'm really enjoying what I'm doing. I decided to get my PhD in psychology, and I hope that I can continue to help and support the Coast Guard Academy and my future career as a psychologist. So I thank anybody that's helped me through this so far, especially my husband, Kevin, I love you. Thank you for everything. And thank you for being here tonight to support me. Thank you. Thank you.
The Distinguished Volunteer Award honors and expresses the Association's gratitude to volunteers across the spectrum of volunteer service to the Academy or the Alumni Association. This year's recipient is Mr. Bob Goner from the class of 1971. In his write-up in the 1971 Tide Rips, an excerpt stated, "Bob always takes time to help those in need. His unbridled enthusiasm, coupled with his willingness to help, is how Bob was remembered at the Academy. Those qualities remain a large part of his DNA 50 years later. In 2008, Bob decided that he wanted to give back to the Academy in a more direct way, and he became an admissions partner. These activities has resulted in over 1,300 hours of his time, and all conducted at his own expense. From 2012 to 2014, he took on a leadership role as the admissions partner coordinator for Georgia. In the words of a former director of admissions, Bob's dedication to supporting our recruiting programs was truly inspirational. He was a tireless volunteer who always had time to support young men and women interested in the Academy. Bob's efforts were truly a force multiplier and critical to helping us meet our ever-challenging recruiting goals. Bob, congratulations on the Alumni Association's Distinguished Volunteer Award.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Alumni Association for making this recognition and award possible. All the directors and staff and members always found it very easy to deal with the Alumni Association and everybody involved with the admissions program. I am both grateful and honored, but very much surprised. I have a Admiral Brown story as well. I got a phone call, and I was helping my grandson with his daughter. And the phone rang, and as we sometimes do, we look at the phone number, and if we don't understand where it's coming from, we kind of say, boom. And I almost did that. And when he called, and fortunately stayed on the line and told me about the award. The thanks, though, for this award should really be coming from me to you, because you've challenged me to work as a volunteer with the Coast Guard Academy Admissions Partners for almost 20 years. It's been a labor of love, and my profound privilege to represent the Academy and Coast Guard in varied and exciting venues over the years. I've traveled long distances by car, as well as camping out at my neighborhood Starbucks on occasion with a lot of Coast Guard attire and noticeability. Most of the time at Starbucks, the Starbucks campout, a question would inevitably come my way, and I would get into conversations that morphed into an appointment type conversation. Life was great as a human sandwich board. But now, somewhat modified because of COVID, we're not able to do some of that stuff. I've had to take my Starbucks regular locations off the list. My volunteer journey originally started with a random phone call from my classmate trying to help another classmate. Roger Corsi, who was then chairing the State of Georgia Admissions Partner Program at the time. Roger told me he was assuming other responsibilities and wondered if I would like to come on board as an admissions partner. That was about 15 years ago. I hadn't even nodded my head in Roger's direction when he asked me that. And when a package of materials arrived at my home with a note from Roger wishing me well. Roger left me a highly successful Georgia team, and I was grateful once again. Then the fun began. College nights, visits to high school guidance offices, senior awards ceremonies, graduation visits to the CGA Scholars locations in Marion, Alabama, and Milledgeville, Georgia. Interviews around the state and pairing up with other Academy mission partners, Coast Guard reservists, and Coast Guard auxiliaries. Team Coast Guard was very much alive over these last 20 years. It's a great journey, and along the way I met outstanding and motivated people who truly love to support the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard Academy in all of our endeavors. In Georgia, Senator Johnny Isaacson promoted an Academy Day each year, and more than 1,000 people, think about that, more than 1,000 people would show up at the Air Reserve Base, and we would be in a big old hangar, and all of the academies would be there giving their spiel. It was quite an exciting time every year, every May. And then, so more than 1,000 would regularly show up here, and not only hear about the different opportunities, but seeing the military hardware that would be there. And occasionally we would get a Coast Guard helo and that was always a big day. It was a proud moment for everyone when the Senator began speaking about the academies. Senator Isaacson also did a send-off day each year for all appointees, a first-class operation. Congressional trips to Fort Benning and the Infantrymen's Museum was another outstanding venue, and it provided West Georgia with a glimpse of the Coast Guard. I would be remiss if I did not thank a special person in my life for all the assistance that my wife Sherry provides me. She is actually my leading recruiter. She, as a physical education teacher in her school, she would mark 6th graders who had the gum, to apply for the Coast Guard and track that person all the way up until the 8th grade and then on to high school. So I'll end with my most memorable event, and I did not have to travel very far, only winding up in my own living room. It occurred where former Academy Superintendent Admiral Randall and then Director of Admissions Captain McKenna arrived to a crowd of parents and applicants. After a rousing discussion of the Coast Guard, the Admiral asked one applicant to come forward, and he then presented an official appointment letter. It was powerful and a reminder of the many ways we can be engaged. It's so important to keep these private-public partnerships alive, to increase our reach economically and maximize our resources and find the talent that we need, which, as we all know, is changing with the changing times. Look forward, everyone should look forward for ways to influence and assist. One small thing that you could do could influence a candidate's life forever. I'm sure many of you out there, I'm sure involved in the admissions program, that happens to you. Everyone can be involved, it's easy. And do try the human sandwich board approach at your local coffee shop. Guaranteed to work with your next latte. Semper Paratus and Go Bears.
The Distinguished Mentorship Award was established to honor those individuals who provide outstanding support, encouragement, and inspiration, serve as role models, and help others achieve their full potential. The recipient of this year's Distinguished Mentorship Award is Captain Eva Van Camp, class of 1997. Captain Van Camp's commitment to mentoring all ranks of the service is unmatched. On a personal level, she provides invaluable career path direction, interpersonal dynamics coaching, and advice for improved work-life balance. At the strategic level, Captain Van Camp advises Coast Guard senior leadership of workforce challenges that hamper retention and help form official mechanisms that promote and enhance mentoring processes. However, her most impressive accomplishments are evidenced by her work to create lasting mentoring systems that are easily sustainable and exportable for others to use as mentoring force multipliers. She was the founding member and first chair of the National Capital Region chapter of the Coast Guard Women's Leadership Initiative. Leveraging the incredible success of this initiative, leaders reached out to Captain Van Camp and others in the chapter for guidance to formally expand those efforts to help the entire service. Her guidance is widely credited as a key force that led to the establishment of the Coast Guard's mentoring program that the Commandant heralded in the 2021 State of the Coast Guard address about the benefits of this official service-wide program that will receive recurring funding. Eva, congratulations on the Alumni Association's Distinguished Mentorship Award.
Good evening, Admiral, distinguished guests. It's truly an honor to be here tonight. First, I would like to thank the Coast Guard Academy Alumni Association for this incredible honor of selecting me as your 2021 Distinguished Mentorship Awardee. I stand on the shoulders of giants, starting with my mom here tonight and my dad watching down from heaven. They're the foundation that set me into my success in the Coast Guard. by a mentor that has looked out for me and put me in for this award. Admiral Melissa Burt has been truly a mentor and a role model to me for many years. And her dedication and passion for people is what I inspire to emulate. I think that I've had a lot of mentors throughout my career, and I owe a lot to them, both junior, senior, male and female, and I couldn't have done it without them. I know I have a lot that I could name tonight, but I can't be here all night, so I will just be forever grateful for their advice, their guidance, and them believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. These mentors really helped me appreciate the value that we gain from developing talent. And this is the least that I can do to share my benefits and my experiences with others. And I can pay it forward to the cadets, like my first class mentee here tonight, the junior officers and junior enlisted, and those that I mentor. And I'd like to thank my husband, Tim, who I couldn't do it without him. Even writing OERs and memos, a lot of them for me, thank you. And my kids, Madsen and Blair, for being patient when they deserve more mommy time. But just know that I'm doing what I love, and wow, this is way overwhelming. But I'm doing what I love, and taking care of others like others have taken care of me. Thank you very much.
The Distinguished Service Award was established to honor those individuals whose personal efforts, dedication, commitment, and service have extraordinarily contributed to the United States Coast Guard Academy Alumni Association. We have 2 awards to present this evening. The first recipient of the Distinguished Service Award is Miss Eileen Foy Kelly. Over her almost 18 years as the Alumni Association's Director of Alumni Relations, Eileen truly embodied the association's mission and earned a service-wide reputation as someone always willing to go the extra mile to create a welcoming environment for returning alumni and their families. Her commitment facilitated enduring connections among alumni of all ages and strengthened the long blue line, and also engaging the current Corps of Cadets. Her career is full of truly tremendous accomplishments, as she welcomed 25 alumni classes, orchestrated 18 highly successful homecoming weekends, encompassing 250 class reunions for approximately 25,000 alumni, family, and friends. She developed the 50-year Medallion Ceremony into one of the most inspiring aspects of homecoming, coordinated dozens of Service Academy career conferences, launched the highly successful Link in the Chain program, Golden Legacy Ring Donation, and the Cadet Ambassador program. Her impact on the association itself and the thousands of alumni that she served over the years is undeniable and endeared her legacy within the Coast Guard Academy family. Eileen, congratulations on the Distinguished Service Award.
Thank you, Andrea. And good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Finally. Well, welcome, everybody, and congratulations to all of those who are also receiving awards. I'm glad I could make it tonight because I missed the last one. I would also like to welcome my family, my husband, Jim, my children, Connor and Jillian, my sisters, Carol and Paula, my niece, my cousin Marion, and Gail, who has been my friend since first grade. And talk about connections. Gail's sister is married to Admiral Bob Hollingsworth. So we've been friends for years. I'm so honored that I was chosen for this award. When Admiral Brown called me, I was in the emergency room with my husband. And he said, answer the phone, answer the phone. I said, I'm not answering the phone. What does he want? He said, maybe he wants you to come back. I said, I don't think so. So I did call him later, and I said, did I win the lottery or something good like that? He goes, well, kind of. So it was pretty special. This is my 19th time at this award. I got smart through it's the only time on this side of it, but I did all the planning, and then I got smart and I gave it to Abby Coates, who's done a wonderful job. Thank you, Abby. I chose to retire at a good time before pandemic and before this crazy weekend. Some of you are aware that I grew up in a Coast Guard family, and we were permanently stationed here, so we never went anywhere. And so it made me reflect on many of the years and service that I did that I never got paid for, that I got paid for in this job. There was decades of experiences, and I probably could write a book. But I did remember that in the first decade or so, my father said to me, Eileen, I need your help. I've got the academy deans coming from the other places, and I don't want to stay inside and do a meeting. So I need you to come help me. We're going to take them on the boat. We're going to call it Deans Afloat. And I need your help with the boat and to serve lunch and clean up. That was my first event of many that he wrote me into. And then there was another experience that really was a lasting impression for me. This was in my first decade of life. My parents were talking about a gentleman who they spoke so highly about, and he was the first Asian American and Chinese American to graduate from the academy. He was a great guy, and my father, they kept talking about him, and I said, well, what happened? And he said, well, he went home and got in a very big fight with his brother, who had been stealing money from his parents. He ended up killing his brother. His family disowned him. And my father wrote to him the whole time he was in prison. He went to prison for a while. I just could never get over that my dad just did that year after year. When he got out of prison, they went and they met him. They remained friends for a lifetime. So then I got to start this job, and my mother says to me, do you know what happened to so-and-so? Because I haven't heard from him in a year or so, and I hope he didn't pass away or is sick. So I decided, and he hadn't passed away, so I decided to write him a note. I said who I was, and I had heard about him my whole life, and my parents raved about him, and blah, blah, blah. And my mother was concerned. Well, apparently, as soon as he got the letter, he called my mother, and they were both so excited. And so to put those two together was very special. And then, so I was telling you about Deans Afloat. Deans Afloat, I came to Kurt Kalala, and I was telling him about that. He said, we still do that. So I was part of the very first Deans Afloat, and you're still doing it. So it's a cool tradition that my dad started. We had cadets at our house all the time. All the time. And we just figured my father wanted to marry off his 5 daughters. And actually he was successful with 2. 2 great, great, wonderful men. So I had 3 older sisters that paved the way. And when it came time that I was hanging out with cadets, we had a great big advantage because my dad's car had an officer sticker on it. So we could get them back on time. And everything was good with that. So I was aware of the ring dance, the bill at night, all those wonderful things. And bill at night used to be, they'd get together and there was a big map and they'd just stick a pin on where they wanted to go. Oh my God, is it so different now? You leave there, you are so excited that you think, oh my God, I'm just going home. Not that there's anything wrong with going home, but they're going to flight school and all these wonderful ships, and it was exciting. So then when I got this job as Director of Alumni Relations, to me, it was an extension of my affiliation with the Academy. So it didn't, you know, it was great, and I was getting paid for it, but it didn't seem like a big, huge lift. But there were a couple of things that we could reimagine and enhance. One, and it was simple and easy, because for us, all we thought about was, how do we connect people? How do we market the long blue line? You know, change lives or change attitudes. And the first one was homecoming. I got thrown into homecoming 2 or 3 months into being there, and then I had to figure it all out. So the first thing was the golf carts changed everything. And then we have people calling all the time that, you know, for their 50th reunion, we really want to get there, but we're having health issues, and some of these people are terminal. I said, if you can get them here, we'll take care of you on the Academy. So we had places we still do it, I think you guys still do it, places for them to rest. We take care of their medicine. We had VIP service. And part of that VIP service was they would stay with that one person and take them from point A to point B. Now, part of that service is my husband, Jim, mostly everybody at that table, my son, my daughters, my cousins, and it changed so many lives from coming here. One year we had 3 terminally ill people that said, I want to be there. And I said, well, if you can get here, we'll take care of you. And they did, they all made it. So it was very gratifying. And then the other one thing, we did great things like things with Jocelyn's and money for cadets for their dances and all these great things. But one thing that bugged me was the Medallion Ceremony. Now, it looked great out on the parade field with all the cadets, but the cadets couldn't hear anything that was going on. They were all standing at parade rest out by the street. And I kept saying, why can't we do something? And have them come around. No, ma'am, and that's the other thing. You felt very young and fun until somebody called you ma'am, and then you killed it all. So it rained one year, we went to Alumni, and that was good, but it wasn't great. So then the next year, Alumni was being revamped, and we went to downstairs to the 3rd deck. Wow, what a difference. The cadets, well, the whole corps was there, up and down the sides. The class was in the middle, and they just screamed and yelled and hollered and kicked their feet on the bleachers. And it was the most moving, energetic event. It became one of my favorite events. And the commandant came to me afterwards and said, this is unbelievable, you gotta keep this here, because he had been at the last couple. So the senior leadership came and they said, oh, this is great. And I said, this is how it should be. They learned, they could hear what the people were saying, and then the class would get up and they would clap for all the cadets, and then the corps would start it, and it just kept going on and on and on. It was great. Later that night, the Commandant of Cadets, Captain John O'Connor, came to me, and he said, I got a story to tell you. I said, what? He goes, that was the best medallion ceremony. He said, before I went down there, a female cadet, was in my office. She had signed every paper. She was out of here. She came back after the ceremony, and I know they don't all get it, but this girl came back and said, sir, I want to rip up the papers. I'm staying. So I said, wow, there it is. It worked. It was great. So I want to thank all of my family. They would come out, I'm telling you, sleet, snow, rain, nor'easters, rain going sideways, and they'd still come back the next year and want to go on the golf carts. I couldn't have done it without them, and I couldn't have done it without the staff and Andrea, you and Bob. You guys are great. And not only was it a great job, and it's just sort of an extension of my life, but we had a lot of fun doing it. And I am very appreciative of this board, and I'm thankful I could get here. Thanks.
The second recipient of the Distinguished Service Award is Commander Mark Harris, U.S. Coast Guard retired, class of 1996. Under Mark's leadership, the Eclipse Legacy Fund was established in 2015 with a dedicated group of alumni who believed that a more diverse and inclusive Coast Guard Academy and Coast Guard was possible. In 2016, the group established the Commander Merle J. Smith Eclipse Legacy Endowment, both to honor Merle and to continue his legacy as a pioneer and mentor in perpetuity. In 2019, the group rebranded the Eclipse Legacy Fund to the Eclipse Legacy Coalition as an umbrella organization representing all alums of color. The Eclipse Legacy Coalition supports recruiting and retention initiatives and directly supports programs developed to encourage an environment and culture where people of diverse backgrounds feel included, valued, and respected. Mark and the members of the Eclipse Legacy Coalition Governance Council have been very active during the pandemic, and Mark has personally facilitated the Eclipse Legacy Talks, tackling difficult conversations in the Coast Guard. Mark's tireless efforts, generous spirit, and passionate commitment to reconnect and strengthen ties with alums of color and to make the Academy and Coast Guard a more inclusive community models the ways for volunteer leaders. Mark, please accept the Distinguished Service Award.
Andrea, thank you very much for that. Wow, as you were reading that, I kind of get a little emotional. Good evening, everyone. I want to acknowledge Admiral Kelly and any of his staff that are here. One, for the exceptional job that they're doing here on a daily basis to produce the next great leaders for our organization. To Andrea and the entire Alumni Association staff, you guys know how much I love you, but the work that they're doing here is absolutely tremendous, and it's making this campus, this United States Coast Guard Academy, a state-of-the-art campus for everybody. And I also want to thank my family, even though they're not here today. I want to thank them for the many times that I've had to miss things, including tonight's volleyball game and this weekend, some of this week's homecoming festivities for my high schoolers there. But you guys, I love you, you know I miss you, and I thank you for all the time you've allowed me to do these things with Eclipse and with the Alumni Association. You know how much it means to me. And lastly, of course, I want to thank Captain Carl Patel for his generosity and forward thinking to make these awards even possible. Actually, the last time I was here for this event was 5 years ago, and I was actually being honored in the Coast Guard Athletic Hall of Fame. So to, let's see, Kimberly, Patrick, and Cheryl, to the men's crew team of 81 and the 51 football squad, congratulations, welcome to the hall, and enjoy your evening tonight because it's very special, and everything you've been doing is great, so celebrate it. And then go down there to your plaques on the wall and make sure you get a good picture of it. I'm extremely humbled to be receiving awards tonight. After all, when you're recognized with the likes of Robert Burt and Jim Ellis and Kerry Watterson and Jim Sylvester, and the initial recipient, Dr. Arthur Adams, each of whom had an extremely extraordinary contributions to the Academy, to the Association, and to the Coast Guard. It's incredibly humble, and it just means so much that I'm just honored to be named amongst such a prestigious group. The award said leadership for the Eclipse Legacy Coalition in striving to make the Academy, the Alumni Association, the Coast Guard a more inclusive community. And while I wish I could tell you that back in 2014, when we initially started trying to figure out what this would look like, that was not necessarily the grand plan. However, when I reached out to Andrea Parker Smith and she put me in contact with Lieutenant Commander Matt Williams and the Honorable Chris Soto, and we started to discuss what this would look like, how we could increase the recruiting and retention efforts of members of color, and how we could get more mentors on campus and get more people connected to the Alumni Association, and get more alumni of color here at the Academy to celebrate everything that's going on here. We never imagined what the Eclipse Legacy Coalition would actually become. So I'm grateful for them, their input and their support of what we've been doing from day one. When we initiated the Merle Smith Endowment, it became a part of the All Present campaign. So it really, and a lot of that was, I would lean to the Alumni Association in helping us establish that and get that going. But it actually, it just blew everybody away. And we had a ton of flag level support from the very beginning. And to Admiral Errol Brown and Madsen Brown and Fred Ames and Thad Allen and Paul Zunkum and so many others, and many of you in the room who are supporting our efforts now. Thank you so much. It means a great deal. It also signified that many of you saw a need and desired the Eclipse Legacy Coalition to be successful. It also showed that we were not in this alone, and that meant a whole lot. And then, of course, timing is everything. And as we all know, there were several things that were happening in our country, but also here at the Academy, that required a collection of perspectives that were not necessarily the same as the folks that were in the decision rooms at the time making those decisions. And we were able to provide some great support and some great insight then that built partnerships till this day. And can I just be honest? Transparent conversations were happening well before COVID hit, well before George Floyd's murder, and these challenging conversations were being held between alumni, between members of the Alumni Association's board of directors. We were having it with senior Coast Guard officials, and the discussions led to significant growth on every side, and there was a desire to see these conversations expand and bleed and grow and become much appreciated and more normalized throughout our entire organization. It led to a myriad of wonderful opportunities that we were able to do through Eclipse, and that included raising capital to establish the Merle Smith Endowment, creating numerous mentoring opportunities here for the cadets, and honoring Coast Guard Academy legend and Dr. Hallie Gregory. And after the 2020 tragic events, we created the Difficult Conversations series, tackling numerous challenging issues, from the impact of George Floyd's murder, what our own organization, Coast Guard commanding officers, were doing from a leadership perspective, how the attacks on the Asian Americans in our country were impacting our very own Coast Guard members. All these things were necessary. We needed to talk about them, and we needed to heal together from them. Now, all of these conversations, while they're challenging and courageous, more than anything, they were helpful, they were impactful. And I know there's been a lot of feedback and challenges to some of the recent focuses, and we welcome that feedback. We want to hear from you, and I would love to have those voices in some of our Difficult Conversation series, so please reach out to me, connect with me if you have those. But lastly, I just want to offer this. In striving to make a more inclusive community, it means remembering one thing: we're all shipmates. And when a shipmate is hurting, we rally around them. When they're excelling, we celebrate with them. When they're being mistreated, we step up and we step in and we do something. And as shipmates, we all need to be each other. We all need each other. We all need to be willing to speak to each other rather than at each other. And if we can make that shift, then we'll no longer have shipmates at odds. Because when our shipmates are at odds, we might be able to bring the ship into shore, but we'll never right the ship. And we should always be willing and ready to right the ship. And when we do that, in order to do that, we need to be together, we need to be focused, we need to be diligent, and we need to be aligned, all pulling in the same direction. Let's focus on being good shipmates to ensure that all shipmates are given the opportunity and an equal opportunity to serve, to excel, to grow. And when we do that, we will continue to be the greatest Coast Guard this world has ever seen. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Dan Rose, the Coast Guard Academy's Director of Athletics.
Thank you, Andrea. So, first order of business, as I look around the room, would any of our prior inducted Hall of Famers please stand up? I know I have at least two. All right. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Dan, I'm not standing. Clear now.
You're not a Hall of Famer?
No, I'm not.
Well, not yet.
Not yet. No, I won't, nor will I be.
Not with that attitude. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is awesome to start out with our previous Hall of Famers because, you know, to steal a line from Emilyn Tinelle's book, right? We walk in the footsteps of giants. So to see those here, and it's exciting because when we start talking about those that get inducted tonight, you're going to be really blown away with just the amazing things that they have done, not only here, but when they got out of the Coast Guard. So good evening, everyone. On behalf of the cadet athletes, coaches, and staff in the athletics division, welcome home. The world has changed a great deal since 2019 Hall of Fame inductions, and the fact that we are gathered here together this evening is an accomplishment in and of itself. I want to personally thank Andrea Marcia and her team, the Alumni Association, for doing what any good coach would do. Call an audible, adjust the events in a way that allows us to come together and honor our alums. So this is our second Hall of Fame ceremony in 3 weeks. And it has been a truly awesome to look back out of this Hallie Gregory Field house and see you all here with us, and what a special occasion it is. We celebrate the achievements of 3 individuals and 2 teams whose accomplishments have brought national recognition to the Coast Guard Academy and our proud athletic program. Before we begin, I would like to point out that the Autogram Hall of Athletic Excellence, located in Ballard Hall, is the permanent home of our member plaques, as well as a whole host of other sports memorabilia and CGA history. The hall will be open throughout the weekend, and we invite everyone to visit this special place. So ladies and gentlemen, if we were in Ballard Gym right now this evening, you'd notice a display for Autogram on the stage, and above that display, the phrase, "Leadership through Athletics." It's written on the wall. It's a powerful statement that holds special meaning on our campus. Here at the Coast Guard Academy, we never refer to athletics as an extracurricular activity. At CGA, we believe sport is co-curricular. It's part of the educational process. It's an ideal proving ground for leaders of character prior to entering service into the world's best Coast Guard. So our newest Hall of Famers certainly proved that theory to be true. And tonight's first honorees are the 1951 Coast Guard Academy football team. This is a big statement, an important point of distinction. At 6 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie, they are the only undefeated football team in CGA history. The 51 Bears, coached by Nelson W. Nitchman, defeated Norwich University, Trinity, Wesleyan, Amherst, Worcester Tech, and RPI. That stout defense allowed just 13 points per game, and 9 of the 29 varsity letter winners from that team are in the CGA Athletics Hall of Fame today. It's not... So it's not every year that we get to celebrate athletic excellence on the 70th anniversary of an undefeated season. So joining us tonight is a member of that 51 team, Roger Madsen, Captain, U.S. Coast Guard retired in CGA class of 53. So before Roger joins us to receive to receive our honors, to take our picture with the Admiral, and to stand up here before everyone, I want to share a few remarks from Bill Thompson, CGA Hall of Famer, team co-captain of the 63 football team, a team that also went undefeated in the regular season, suffered its only loss against Western Kentucky in the Tangerine Bowl in Orlando, Florida. Bill states, those guys set an example of the high standard required for success, and there were several players on that 51 team that added value to our team as assistant coaches in our quest for a perfect season. Congratulations to the 51 Coast Guard Academy Bear football team, and thanks for a lifetime of memories. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause as we welcome Roger Madsen to the awards table.
Sure.
Did great. You did.
Great.
And as I look out at the audience here, and we have our Hall of Fame inductees tonight, just a reminder that all those that are announced tonight that are going into our Athletic Hall of Fame, for those that are here during the football game at halftime, we will have you all walk onto the field and acknowledge you in front of the home crowd at the game on Saturday. So please plan on that. Please meet us in the end zone with a couple minutes left to go in the first half, and we'll escort you on the field. So our next honoree is Cheryl Hickey, CGA class of 2006. So Cheryl was nominated in the Pioneer category based on her remarkable career as a tennis player. Cheryl established her legacy as the only woman to compete on the men's varsity tennis team. And from 2002 to 2006, Cheryl built a winning record of 38-34 in match play against men's varsity opponents. In 2003, Cheryl earned NUMAC men's tennis first team all-conference honors, as well as NCAA Division III women's All-American honors. Cheryl was ranked among the top 20 for Division III women's tennis players in the Northeast, and during her senior year, she was named co-captain of the men's tennis team. Cheryl was also a 2006 ESPN Academic All-American, and according to Captain Mike Turdo, current Eagle CO and former CGA tennis coach, upon first meeting Cheryl in her 4C year, I was immediately struck by her maturity, determination, and poise. From an athletic standpoint, it was quite evident that she was extremely gifted. Most notably, her physical conditioning was far superior to the rest of the team. That commitment to fitness served Cheryl well as an officer when she was selected to attend Navy Dive School in Panama City, Florida. Cheryl was the sole female to complete this rigorous 5-week program that boasts a 30% attrition rate. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Pioneer Dr. Cheryl Hickey, CGA class of 2006.
Thank you all. This is quite the honor. I don't really have anything prepared, but I'm so happy to be back here, and I wouldn't be here today without some special people that are sitting at the table back there with me. I have 3 former Coast Guard tennis coaches and 1 current tennis coach, one of which was my teammate back at the academy and co-captain, and then a very special friend here today with me who I wouldn't have made it through the academy without. And although they tried to make us enemies at Swab Summer, we're friends to this day. So thank you all for this award. I appreciate it.
So our next honoree is Lieutenant Commander Kim Shadrick, CGA, class of 2011. That's the way to do it. Kim's fingerprints are all over the CGA record books, and she excelled at both the conference and national levels. In her 4-year swimming career, Kim was a 9-time NUMAC champion and a 2010 NUMAC Swimmer of the Year. At the national level, Kim was a 3-time NCAA All-American in 2011 and a 2-time Honorable Mention All-American in 2009 and 2010. Kim still holds 5 CGA school records, was a 2-time captain, and a 3-time MVP. Kim's contributions to CGA swimming went beyond her time as a cadet. Head swimming coach John Westcott noted, Kim has given more to the women's swimming program than any other female athlete. She was a capable assistant coach while serving as a company officer, and her presence served as a positive example for the women in the program. She freely gave of her time for winter training, NUMAC trips, and mentoring cadet athletes. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome one of the most decorated women swimmers in CGA history, Lieutenant Commander Kim Shadrick, CGA, class of 2011. And she's already here.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've been this nervous since my wedding day, so here it goes. Commander Heller? Oh, okay. I've got a lot of time, all right. I know he's the resident timer. So good evening, Admiral Kelly, Dr. Rose, fellow awardees, faculty, staff, family, and friends. I'm so glad that we can celebrate this year in person. I know it was no easy feat to have 2 homecomings in 1 year with ever-changing COVID protocols in place. So thank you to the Alumni Association and to the Academy for making this possible here at the Dr. Hallie Gregory Hall Fieldhouse. A very fitting venue for myself and fellow inductees. Those standing here, all I can hear in my head right now is Coach Grant's up, down. And I feel the need to drop and give 20 cadence push-ups, but I won't. I'll rip something. For the uninitiated, that's the sound of the PFE. First, I'd like to say thank you for bestowing this honor upon me. I am so incredibly grateful to be up here surrounded by extraordinary people. I am honored to join those who came before me and those who will come after. Without swimming, and my brother Jack, I probably would have never joined the Coast Guard, and I certainly would have never been able to graduate the Coast Guard Academy. Swimming has provided me with some of my dearest friends, my most inspirational mentors, and my strongest sense of personal achievement. I am immensely grateful for all the opportunities I've received in my life due to my participation in swimming, and I don't believe I will ever be able to give back to the sport what it has provided me. First and foremost, I'd like to thank my family. I started swimming at the age of 5, just trying to keep up with my older brothers and sister. And though that's pretty natural to follow one's siblings, I realize now that it's rather unique to have an entire family participate in the same sport. Mom, dad, aunts, uncles, imam. But it's even more rare to participate on the same team with one of your older brothers at a collegiate level at a highly selective military academy. This, of course, meant that my parents clocked a lot of miles in the family van, and my mom became the dessert provider of choice for both the men's and women's swim and dive teams. My family has always literally been on my team. So Mom, Dad, Jack and Jeff, Kelly, thank you for always being there and sending me words of encouragement and showing me the way. It wasn't until I stopped swimming and started volunteer coaching that I truly understood the sacrifices parents make for their children to succeed. The hours spent put in shuttling to and from practice, games, clinics, camps, etc., on top of having to go to work and general household management. So, Mom, Dad, and to all the parents in the audience, family and friends, I want to say thank you for all the parents and all the sacrifices that you do for your kids every day. I'm not a mom, but thank you. After I left home for the academy and spent more and more time away from my parents, my team then became my family. My academy teammates became the sisters and brothers that I chose. the ups and downs of practices, long practices, meets and championships. Within the 4 years at the Academy, forged the relationships that I continue to rely upon. A decade out from graduation, my teammates kept me sane, motivated, and carried me academically during the time as a cadet. Later, as officers, they flew from all over the country to watch me get engaged, stood up and ushered at my wedding, and still called just to check in. So thank you, Table 11, Mr. and Mrs. Wilman, for coming all the way to celebrate with me and representing all the friends and teammates who couldn't be here tonight. When I was stationed back at the Academy as a company officer, I say this hesitantly with Admiral Kelly to my side, but honestly, I wouldn't say I was particularly excited to go back to Chase Hall. But my time here taught me it takes a village. It offered me the opportunity to build unique relationships with cadets in 2 very different environments, and I am grateful for those who have stayed in contact. I am touched by the nomination letter put forth by a former swimmer/sponsor cadet, and I look forward to hearing of their contributions in the fleet. While I was back here, the chance to walk down to the hill to Roland and occasionally build an uncomfortable long-distance workout was uplifting. Each year, I enjoyed watching the progression of the team throughout the season and thought it was exceptionally special to see the next generation of female leaders, some of which were able to break my own records. And I'm still sorting out how I feel about that. It stings a little. But I'm excited to see Josie McGuire here tonight, and I'm pegging you. You'll take him, Josie, you got this, senior year. But by far the best part of my tour was being reunited with John and Mary Westcott. Just to clarify, let the record show, no, they're not married, they are in-laws. So we have them on tape now. But they were the most influential mentors I had as a cadet, and it was the pinnacle of my swim career to return and stand on the pool deck beside them. John, I don't think I'll ever understand how your life has generated so many stories from growing up in Rhode Island and then moving 43 miles down the road, but I will never stop enjoying them. Thank you for pushing me when I least wanted it, and knowing how to make my last race my best race. Table 2. Mary, the knowledge that you bestowed upon us during our drives up to Numax will never be forgotten. Thank you for kicking our butts with your dry lines back then, and continuing to do so today. There's no workout like a Body by Mary workout. And I will always enjoy watching you do more pull-ups than my husband. Which leads me to Jay, my husband, my aqua rock, the man who nominated me today for this award and induction. As previously stated, he surprised me with our engagement. Obviously, you know, that's typically how it goes. But he also surprised me with our honeymoon to the point where I thought I was going AWOL. And I was a little concerned, but he surprised me with that. And now this, as well as me helping me prepare this speech today, because I am a procrastinator and taking the time to do that. So this is the part that he didn't help me with, and it's a little haphazard, but I conclude. As we approach 2011's 10-year reunion, I'm amazed at the sheer density of memories from my 4 years as a cadet and 3 years as an officer. Thank you, and I'm truly humbled.
So our next honoree is Lieutenant Pat Bennett, CGA class of 2011. Pat was a standout on the football field where he was a 3-time all-conference selection. During his playing career, Pat recorded 13 interceptions and 225 tackles. In 2010, Pat was one of a handful of CGA football players ever to receive the prestigious Gold Helmet Award, a special weekly honor bestowed by the New England Football Writers Association for outstanding game performance. Those that follow CGA football closely may remember Pat running back the opening kickoff 82 yards against Merchant Marine Academy in 2010 for the only touchdown leading CGA to a 10-8 victory. Pat capped his stellar football career by earning 2011 CGA Male Athlete of the Year Award. And former head coach Bill George had this to say about Pat. Everything about him defined the mission of the Academy. He never raised his voice, yet his presence commanded respect. His leadership could be seen on him like it was part of his uniform, not a pin or a medal, but a look in his eye. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Lieutenant Pat Bennett, CGA class of 2011.
Sorry, bear with me. Gotta get my notes out. All right. Good evening. Admiral Kelly, Alumni Association, and of course, my CGA family. There's so many people to thank, but so little time to thank everyone. So please do not get offended if I don't say your name. I would like to first thank my Heavenly Father, who is the author of my faith. Next, I want to thank my wife, Jasmine, and my son, Patrick, for all of their sacrifices over the past 10 years and 4 cutters. To my team, Sam and Charlie England, Nick Hartman, Justin Brooks, Kevin Novick, Dave Lieberman, Jesse Harms, Josh Williams, John McDonald, Tony Baruso, Dave Zwerbless, my dude Jay Shirey, Mike Leith, Aaron Jones, Stephon Lewis. When I was at my lowest point at the academy, these men lifted me up. A true band of brothers. CGA staff. I believe the staff here is like no other school in the world. You name a school where the dean pulls you into their office to tutor you on Calc 2. Don't worry, I'll wait. You name a school where the athletic staff cares more about you as a person than wins and losses. Don't worry, I'll wait. You name a school where the president or superintendent knows each student by name. Don't worry, I'll wait. You name a school where the kitchen staff treats you like you're a family. Don't worry, I'll wait. Needless to say, I'm very grateful to CGA and extremely humble and proud to be here today. The Coast Guard and the Coast Guard Academy changed the trajectory of my life, and I'm proud. Because of my biggest fans and supporters and friends could not be here today, as they have passed on, I would like to share a poem that my parents made sure I read daily while at the academy. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Every day at the academy was a struggle for me because of academics. Those words in that poem kept me going each day. The band of brothers that I named kept me going each day. My parents, my family, Dean, the entire academy staff kept me going each day. Coach George, all of his funny quotes that I'm sure you all have heard and I won't waste your time with them, kept me going each day. Coach George, at times, was my rock. So I appreciate you, Coach. Now, as I close, I know we have a few firsties in here, so I'd like to leave you with some words of advice. Enjoy this last year with 200 of your best friends. Enjoy the time that you have in the wardroom. Enjoy the time that you have in the athletic fields. Enjoy your castle dance or your ring dance or whatever dance that you have now. Enjoy it all. Because once you commission and you cross the bow of the ship, it's game on. It's time to work. It's time to do what we're trained here to do. So, enjoy it while it lasts. So, finally, I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you. Always remember, number 23 on the field, number 1 in your heart. Peace and love.
Hall of Fame recognition of the evening goes to the 1981 men's rowing heavyweight Varsity A. So the 81 team was a tenacious crew with a 27-3 overall record and a perfect 27-0 record versus New England opponents. This outstanding 8 won the New England Championship by 2.3 seconds, beating UMass, University of New Hampshire, and Holy Cross. The 81 team went on to win the Dad Vale Championships, which is also known as the Small College National Championships, and set a course record in the opening round of races. And speaking to former team member and current director of rowing, Mr. Bill Randall, Bill stated, "That was a special team. The whole was definitely greater than the sum of its parts," referring to the magical way in which this group came together as a team. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 1981 men's heavyweight Varsity 8. And speaking for the 81 team is Eric Brown, Commander U.S. Coast Guard retired. We would ask that the whole team come up and stand behind the podium here.
Good evening, everyone. It's always good to be back here at CGA, especially at homecoming weekend. It's a pretty memorable way to start one. For those of us in 81, this is our 40th year. So pretty amazing. Hard to believe it's been that long. On behalf of my teammates, I would just like to thank Admiral Kelly, Dr. Rose, Hall of Fame Selection Committee for this honor. It's truly humbling. I guess, I never thought I'd be recognized for any athletic achievement. So I guess I'd like to, a special thanks to Captain Lincoln Stroh, who nominated our team for this. He wasn't able to be here with us tonight, which is special thanks to him because he had the tenacity and the initiative to do that. So I'd like to thank him for submitting that. We're grateful for all the support we received then as well as now. We were blessed to have Hall of Fame legends Bill Stowe and Captain Autogram as our coach and our athletic director, respectively. How lucky were we? They taught us what teamwork, commitment, and dedication could accomplish. And many of you would say, hey, what's the sport of crew about? What's that rowing thing? And actually, many of us didn't know anything about it either. I guess except for Bill Randall, who rowed in high school, the rest of us didn't know what the sport was about. But we had heard good things about it. There was a pretty good buzz about it in the barracks, and so we said, okay, we'll give that a try. So we gave it a try, and we turned out to be pretty good at it. But just to introduce our team to you, our coxswain, Mike Cosenza, he's not able to be here with us tonight. He was a very capable helmsman, but besides that, being able to steer a good course in tough weather, he was also our coach on the water. Bill Randall, you've heard Bill's name a few times tonight, you'll hear it a few more times here as I speak. Bill was a stroke, which means he was in the number 8 seat. So he's pretty much the heart and soul of the boat, right? He sets the pace, and his mirror image was John Kaplan, sitting right behind him in the 7th seat. So those guys had to be in perfect synchronization. And then you got the powerful people in the boat, kind of the muscle guys that really gave the boat all the power. And that would be Dave Hill and Dave Tron were in the 5 and 6 seats. And Pete Chittenden and Lincoln Stroh were in the 3 and 4 seats. And then you had a couple other people. Dave Younger and myself were the bow pair, so we were kind of the windbreakers and the wave breakers. Because, you know, anyway, being in the bow was kind of interesting because you're the first one across the finish line, but you caught a lot of water and wind while you're, you know, getting down the race course. But the special thing about rowing is, I guess, it's really hard to describe to people, but when there's 8 people working that closely together, and when you're really in the swing of it, you know, it just clicks, and there's really nothing quite like that. I mean, the boat just glides on its own, and it's kind of a special thing, and that's the sort of team chemistry that they stole my phrase, but literally the team is greater than the sum of its parts. No one of us, maybe other than Bill, was, you know, particularly, you know, some athletic legend as far as rowing. We had never done it before we got to the academy. But I guess as a team, we accomplished some pretty interesting things. I was watching the Summer Olympics, and I read a survey, or saw a survey, and it asked, what is the most demanding and difficult event or activity? A lot of people would say, hey, it's a marathon, it's whatever. Actually, I heard a correct answer. Somebody said it's rowing. And those of you who ever tried to row, you know it's really probably one of the most demanding things you can do. So a 2,000-meter race is not only that, but you have to have sound technique and, like I said, precise coordination with the rest of the team. So I guess to that end, we had a lot of practice. Sometimes we'd have 2 practices a day. We'd get up way before everybody else. I mean, everyone else is just going to bed, and the crew team, we were going down to the boathouse to row. And then we'd row in the afternoon and the evening, and that would happen either until dark or until evening formation, whichever came later. So off-season conditioning, you say, well, it wasn't just during the season. We actually did things like weightlifting and rowing on the ergometer, long runs. We used to call them the pig farm runs, I think, because we had to run out to some place and couldn't even find it today, I don't think. But and then we'd run sprints on the library hill. I mean, it was just, you know, I guess we thought of it as torture at the time, but it was really great preparation. And when other people were enjoying a spring break and doing extracurricular stuff, what did we do? Well, we traveled by Liberty van down to Orlando and had, again, 2-a-day practices down at Lake Maitland. We were down at Rollins College. Each day, Coach made us run either to or from practice. We could pick. So I guess we had some choice, right? You can either run to practice or from practice. And then we had 2 practices a day. Anyway, it was pretty crazy, but it was great preparation. And before you think all we did was fun in the sun, we actually also did winter workouts. And our road to Norwich and back, I guess to put it simply, that was a rite of passage. So I mean, you used to call that kind of a death row because it was like you practically have frostbite by the time you finished that. So it was, again, it's kind of a character builder to say the least. So speaking of bad weather, I guess the Thames River is never known for being, you know, really flat or calm. And one spring race, we actually had a race delayed by several hours. And Coach Stowe decided, hey, we still need to get this thing off. So before it got dark, we started the race. And again, by then, the tide had changed. So it was an incoming tide, a headwind, and you say, those are 2 bad things when you're rowing into that. So it took us like 8.5 minutes, and you say, okay, that doesn't sound so bad. But a normal race is 6 minutes. So there's an extra 2.5 minutes of like pure agony there. But we did prevail, and I think Mike Cosenza was probably bailing water as fast as he could in the back. In the stern, the water's probably ankle deep over Bill and JJ's feet, but we overcame that. You know, that's kind of adversity. You know, you can't really teach that, and provided a foundation, I think, for how we deal with a lot of difficult circumstances, whether it's in your personal life or your professional life. And although Coach Stowe isn't with us anymore, without question, he had a tremendous impact on our lives. We benefited from a winning tradition and Coach Stowe's uncanny ability to put together a team. Not only was he an excellent motivator and strategist, but he knew how to evaluate talent and to use individual skills and strengths that actually best matched what the team needed. A side of Coach that not everybody knew about, though, was how he took an interest in our cadet lives. He was tremendously supportive of us in helping many a team member with academic challenges, personal challenges, and he made sure that we had the resources that we needed. We had pretty much the best boats and stuff that you could have at the time, and as boats and oars evolved from wood to fiberglass to composite, carbon fiber and all that, you know, he kept up with all that. And so if you're a techie and you want to know about all that stuff, Dave Tron has been in the industry for decades, so he can tell you all about all that stuff if you want to know the details. But boats actually used to be made out of wood, so anyway. While we also had great and excellent equipment, Coach Stowe knew how to stretch a dollar and be pretty frugal. Case in point, when we finished some of those early morning workouts, he'd have a large bag of donuts. Of course, they were day-old donuts, and proving once again that cadets will eat almost anything. So when you're tired and hungry and you don't have much time, it was a breakfast to go. And he also had us, speaking of football games, he would have us sell hot dogs at the football games to raise money for our spring break trips. So again, it's those kind of things. That's just an experience that you can't pay for that. So that was Coach Stowe in a nutshell. So most of us haven't really stepped into a cruise shell very often since our academy days, except for an occasional alumni row or our 25th anniversary when we got together at the Dadvale Regatta. But others have devoted their entire career in adult life to rowing and coaching. That includes Pete and Dave and Bill, my teammates, and a couple of other teammates. I think John and Lincoln had daughters go on to do some rowing, so kind of a family tradition. But what's most impressive to me is my teammates' service to others and paying it forward. It's such an integral part of Coast Guard life and its mission, and my teammates are excellent examples of that. This is pretty much reflected in the fact that our careers resulted in 4 retired 06s, 2 05s, and over 180 years of active duty and civilian service. Many served as CEOs afloat and ashore. They're truly role models to their families, friends, and communities, and I consider them mentors influencing the next generation of leaders, just as we benefited from those who taught us. Dave Hill noted in his Hall of Fame write-up that he was grateful to a Lieutenant JG in Puerto Rico when he was a young boy who had helped out as an assistant coach for his team. You might know that junior officer later in his career as Admiral Thad Allen. So you can see what a small world it is and how one can impact other people's lives. As John Kaplan remarked, never underestimate the importance of reaching out to someone. In closing, I'd like to thank again all those who made this possible. And athletics, again, people must have been reading my speech because I broke down here, and I wrote this a while ago, but athletics is such an important part of the academy experience. It's really not an original thought of mine. I'm sure it's been said many times, but it's so complementary to what's pretty obvious as far as the military and academic rigors. It's more than an extracurricular activity, and many life lessons are refined by that athletic competition. My teammates attribute many benefits of their Coast Guard Academy crew careers and learning firsthand on teamwork, dedication, discipline, perseverance, and leadership. And Lincoln Stroh, Captain Lincoln Stroh, remarked that these qualities transcend sports and apply to all types of teams, from the race course to the command center to the front office. And we know that the CGA crew team is in good hands with Bill Randall. So Coach Randall, we wish them future success and pledge them our support. We congratulate our fellow inductees, especially the class of 51. That is truly amazing. And we're grateful and humbled to be included in this group. Special thanks, if I could, on behalf of my teammates to our spouses for their support then and now and in the decades in between. And especially to my wife, my better half for 40 years, I guess. If I kept on track with this, it was mostly because she proofread it and said, well, here's what you need to do to kind of make sure that's only 5 minutes. So if I kept it within 5 minutes, you can thank my wife. So again, thank you very much, and it's a humbling experience to be here. Thank you.
You got a picture? You're good? We could try. Oh, yeah. We get the. I think we could take that mask off real quick for a quick photo. Yeah.
All right. Good.
Yeah, I like that move.
We're not that small. I'm standing on your tiptoes. Okay.
Congratulations, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Congrats.
Thank you.
Bill, congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
right, so congratulations to all the members of this year's Hall of Fame class. I'm sure everyone will agree. These recipients exemplify the essence of leadership through athletics and are most deserving of their place in the Athletic Hall of Fame. Welcome to the Hall. So at this time, I'll turn things back over to Andrew Marcial for the rest of tonight's program. Thank you, and go Bears.
All right, for our last three awards for this evening. The Distinguished Faculty Award, established in 1994, recognizes outstanding senior faculty members who exemplify the most positive aspects of the art of teaching and extraordinarily inspire students, instilling in them a genuine enthusiasm for learning. This year's Distinguished Faculty Award is presented to Captain Greg Hall, class of 1995. Captain Hall serves as the head of the Department of Science and professor of chemistry. He joined the faculty of the Academy in 1999 after receiving his master's degree at Tufts University and was selected to the permanent commission teaching staff later that year. He completed his PhD at Tufts University in 2006 and has published over 13 peer-reviewed articles. His research interests include analytical chemistry and chemometrics and oil spill chemodynamics. He has been invited to speak to groups nationally and internationally, including NOAA, the EPA, and FEMA, about pollution and petroleum science. He is a member of the National Response Team's Science and Technology Committee and the Interagency Coordinating Council on Oil Pollution Research. Previously, Captain Hall has served the Academy as Chemistry Section Chief, Senior Associate Dean, the Chair of the Academy's Reaccreditation by the NETG, and the Director of the Academy's COVID-19 Surveillance Testing Program. Greg, congratulations on your Distinguished Faculty Award.
Good evening. I feel a little bit like fifth period after lunch. Hype up the class a little bit, and I wanted to add that it is a tremendous honor to share the stage with some former students who are out there and are coming up tonight, so that is the biggest thrill. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. I had the chance and honor to speak at Convocation, and I thank my incredible teammates here at CGA, the command, the cadets, my mentors, and my family then. To paraphrase Admiral Allen, all thanks were made in effect. But I also want to extend that thanks to all of you here, especially all of you that support CGA, the Alumni Association, and other support for everything you're doing for us. In my convocation remarks, I talked about moments that give me, as a faculty member, energy. I know for many of us, those moments happen in part because of your generosity. In academics, I might be working up an internship for a cadet, maybe on our research vessel, still the only purpose-built research vessel of any service academy. For me, maybe it was on the athletic fields. For me, it was on the water, whether it was on a Leadership 44 or an ocean racing vessel. Those were really special times and gave me, still sustained me in my career, made in part possible from your generosity. Those things would not happen without you. Now, this award wasn't awarded in 2020, so I'm going to borrow some of that space, and I want to further thank the alumni and its leadership for being side by side with us, separated really only as required by law as we tackled the pandemic. As we figured out how to offer commencement that was meaningful for the class of 2020, or made life isolated life bearable, and I'm thinking of Steel Beach here, I am proud of how CGA weathered that storm and all the things you brought to the game that no one else could have. And I wanted to add in here how excited I am for the Maritime Center of Excellence project. I think I talked about ocean racing there for a second. When I was a cadet, I think I was down on the waterfront prepping a Looters 44 for a very wet trip to Bermuda And at that time, they're like, don't worry, pretty soon we'll replace this building. And here we are. And I want you to all know that the cadets are worth the support. I had a classmate, a sector commander at my homecoming just a couple of weeks ago, and I want to actually thank everybody for lining up both my wife's homecoming and mine on the same year. That made it very convenient for us. And he asked me about this generation of cadets and how they may or may not be different from when we were here as cadets. If you haven't read the book iGen by Jean Twenge, I recommend that you do. She points out some dynamics I see in our own cadets and ensigns, and I acknowledge the dangers of generalizing here, and I don't mean to belittle any of our younger teammates who are different than this, but after 22 years here, I can offer some general observations. The present cadets are more comfortable with authority. They are not cowed by rank or seniority. They will tell you exactly what they think. And let me tell you, that can sometimes be a bit uncomfortable as an 06. And you have to earn their respect every day. But if you do, they will take guidance, they will trust you, and run with it in a way that certainly my classmates and I did not. And that's the reward. They know the challenges before them. Some of these realizing the promise of inclusion and equity, mitigating and hopefully stemming climate change, whatever the cyber world ends up being to our society, and a global geopolitical world, including the Arctic, that will most likely not conform with conventional wisdom. They are sharp, and they want to tackle these things now. As a faculty member, I can promise you that these cadets will be ready. Not only for those challenges, but for the challenges that we don't even know about yet. And without your support, we could not have offered the education they deserve before going out and tackling them. So thank you for this tremendous honor, and go Bears.
Our next award is the Distinguished Philanthropist. As many of you know, your Alumni Association continues to move forward its efforts to provide the Academy with funds to achieve a margin of excellence, and we rely on the leadership and example of key individuals. This award honors those whose generosity has provided a truly significant benefit to the Academy and Corps of Cadets. To present this award is the Alumni Association Vice President of Development, Bob McKenna, Captain, U.S. Coast Guard, retired.
Thank you, Andrea, for allowing me to be part of this special evening and sharing in all the connections. I would miss an opportunity if I didn't mention two personal connections. Don Rosser's here, who was my first coach at the Academy, taught me how to be a Coast Guard Academy oarsman, and Lieutenant Dave Hill, or then Lieutenant Dave Hill, who taught me how to be a junior officer, and his wife Claire, who taught us how to enjoy the ugly love and fun time on Liberty. Thank you both, and thank you. That's what makes this event and this evening so special, are all these connections, and makes us feel good about what we do to give back. And so that's what I'm here to recognize. And as Andrea mentioned, it's my pleasure to announce the Distinguished Philanthropist. In 2015, the Coast Guard Academy Alumni Association embarked on the unprecedented All-Present campaign with the goal to raise $30 million in support of 16 transformational projects for the Corps, the Academy, and the Coast Guard. Among these initiatives, the Emilyn Tinelle Strength and Conditioning Center was by far the most aggressive project, with a goal of $3.5 million. That same year, the then Parents Association President, Ms. Maria Montoya, who I believe is in Singapore, is what I heard? Shanghai, thank you. She's in Shanghai, can't be with us, hopefully you're joining us, Maria. The Parents Association pledged $1 million in support of this project, clearly making this project get off the ground. Over the ensuing years, each president enthusiastically embraced this goal. In March of 2021, the project was completed and gifted to the Academy for use by the entire Corps of Cadets and the Academy community. Thanks to these past presidents, the Parents Association fulfilled its $1 million lead gift for the Strength and Conditioning Center. We just rededicated it with Dr. Chris Barnett, of our now current president of the Parents Association just this past weekend at Parents Weekend. While maintaining all of this effort, the parents continue to give unprecedented levels of annual support to support all kinds of stuff for cadet activities, athletics, bear club, cadet transportation, and so much more. We thank you to all of our parents that are out there, and I would like to welcome all of our past presidents of the Parents Association to join Andrea and Admiral Kelly for some pictures, and I know Dr. Boardman's going to make some remarks. So big round of applause to Kurt Leeser, Vic Polk, Cynthia Orms, Shelley Boardman, and Kate Farrington, who just made a 5-hour drive. Kate, thank you for making the trip.
As much as you can all get together. Yes.
What is that? Sorry, we go as a pack, so we're just working out our...
Good evening. On behalf of the past presidents of the U.S. Coast Guard Academy Parents Association, Maria Montoya, mom of Sarah, 2016 grad, she's in Shanghai, China right now. Vic Hope, dad of Abby, 2017 grad. Kirk Eliezer, dad of Chris, 2018 grad. Cynthia Orms, mom of Molly, 2020 grad. Kate Farrington, mom of Brenna, 2021 grad. And me, Shelley Boardman, mom of Billy, 2019 grad. We thank you all for this award and the opportunity to have served the Coast Guard Academy during our students' 200-week academy experience. It was and continues to be our privilege to represent the 15 regional chapters of our association and hundreds of parents from coast to coast and internationally that have had the opportunity to be a part of the long blue line. The Parents Academy exists for the sole purpose of supporting the U.S. Coast Guard Academy and its Corps of Cadets. It's been our privilege to be one thread in the Academy's long blue line by supporting the $1 million in support of the Elman Tunnel Strength and Conditioning Center, as well as gifts that directly support cadets, activities, and projects. Thank you for your continued support for the Alumni Association. We have a strong relationship with the Alumni Association, and we are appreciative of their continued administrative support of the current Parents Association, Executive Board, and Council, and go Bears. Thank you.
It does truly warm my heart to see all of you together, knowing how much time, talent, and treasure you gave back to this institution during your sons and daughters' tenure here at the Academy. So thank you for making the trip to come back here and for all that you continue to do. Our last award of the evening is the Distinguished Alumnus Award. The Distinguished Alumnus Award was established in 1990. It honors those alumni who have distinguished themselves and brought exceptionally great honor to the Academy through their outstanding accomplishments and achievement in either military or civilian life, and who serve as outstanding examples of the type of character, courage, leadership, and well-rounded persons which the Academy seeks to attract and develop. The first recipient of this award was G. William Miller, class of 1946, and the Secretary of Treasury. Our distinguished alumnus is Mr. Sean Planky, class of 2003. Sean distinguished himself operationally with the float tours, then entered the cybersecurity field to hone his craft. This led to his assignment at U.S. Cybersec Command, where he deployed to Afghanistan in 2013 and earned a Bronze Star for his exceptional work. His experience in Afghanistan strengthened his patriotism and solidified his desire to continue in cybersecurity. He left the Coast Guard to join the U.S. Navy, we're not sure why, but as the Deputy Chief Information Officer for the Navy, where he provided vision and governance over the maritime domain or awareness portfolio. His talent was immediately recognized both within government and private sector. As a result, he joined BP, leading the evaluation of threat intelligence to correlate with geopolitical issues. Called back to his passion to serve his country, he was then appointed as Director for Cybersecurity for the National Security Council. That led to his nomination and appointment as Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary for Cybersecurity, Energy Security, and Emergency Response at the Department of Energy. The culmination of his work at the DOE resulted in 2020 when he co-authored the National Maritime Cybersecurity Plan signed by the President. Outside of his professional life, Sean brings that same energy and passion to help others through philanthropy as co-founder of the Fran Crippen Elevation Foundation and support to his alma mater. Sean, please accept the Alumni Association's Distinguished Alumnus Award.
Thank you for this. It's truly an honor. Before we get started, I just want to say, Kim, 2011, can I work for you? Your speech, spot on. And then, Pat, can I sail with you? Like, I want to be on the ship. Dead on. So those were phenomenal. I do appreciate that they were odd years as well. You know, so I like that. Thank you. So thank you for this. It truly is an honor to be here. I used to read about these awards when I opened my bulletin when I was a junior officer, and then I thought, oh my gosh, these are amazing stories. I never thought that I would actually be here. And so first and foremost, I want to thank my wife. My wife, Medallion Ceremony, Planky over here. I've sat through many of these for her, actually. This is the first time she's actually had to sit through one for me. Last year she was inducted into the Villanova Hall of Fame for athletics. My wife was she's an Olympian for the United States. If you meet her, she'll tell you badminton. But she was an Olympian for swimming. In 2000 in Sydney, she swam. She's an NCAA champion, Division I. She's a two-time national champion as well. And now, beyond that, she's the chief marketing officer for the largest architecture engineering firm in the world, and she owns the Southeast U.S. So, Maddie, all those times that we hang out, you hear me around Coast Guard football teammates, and you hear the story of when I blocked that punt against Kings Point. I know you appreciate that. How is that Division III? But here I'm trying to catch up to you. So this one. So thank you for being here today. I don't want to say thanks to my parents who are both here right now, Bob and Linda. To my mom, the thought process of growing up, she was always, you got to do it. Like, you want that? Go do it yourself. You want to wear those jeans tomorrow? Go wash them. That's what she used to say. You want that for dinner? Make it for all of us. And I did. That's how you learn. It worked. We all survived dinner, and now I make dinner all the time for our family. And to my dad, when I was trying to get into the academy, it's a story of adversity. I got told pound sand when I first applied. What I mean by that is I got all the way through the process, and the football coach at the time called me and said, "Congratulations, you're coming here." I was like, "Oh, great!" And then he's like, "Did you get the note?" I was like, "No, I didn't get the note." He's like, "Oh, let me call you back. So then he calls me back and he's like, oh, you got medically disqualified. Like, oh, great, I guess I'll go to Stonehill. And I didn't give up. I went to a doctor. I ran on the treadmill. I was a bonehead. I checked that I had asthma as a baby on the health history form, and the academy was like, yeah, no asthma, you can't go. And so I ran on the treadmill with a face mask and all that stuff, and the doctor actually pushed that. But I wouldn't have been able to do that, you know, if my dad didn't help make those things happen. So, you know, thank you. Then I got my team here as well. I have Nick Porter here. He was the quarterback in the football team my year. So thank you for that. He also was my first tour roommate, and we were on one of the last 180s in the Coast Guard. So that was a great tour, but it was a great tour because there's a lot of struggles on that ship, but we survived. But not only that, we talk about the strength of the academy. Nick got me my first job when I got out. So I got out, and well, it's the first job when I left government. He found a job at BP. He was at BP at the time, and he got out before me. And he looks, and he goes, I found this on the internal job boards at BP. It sounds like you. Sends it to me. I said, well, send me the guy's email. He sends an email to the guy who's running the job board, you know, the boss, who eventually was my boss. And he's like, hey, this guy, Sean, I know, should be in this job. And he connects us all on email. I start emailing the guy. I started interviewing for the job. 6 months later, I'm an executive at BP, heading all of their cyber intelligence globally. And I wouldn't have even known the job existed. It wasn't even listed publicly if it wasn't for my classmate, and that's the Alumni Association right there, right? So thank you for that, Nick. And I will acknowledge that he is smarter than me. And the reason I say that is because we graduated, and he was the bull ensign on the ship because he had a 2.35 GPA and I had a 2.34. So I just want to knock him. So then I also want to thank Matt Motander, who's here. He's a pitcher at the academy here. And Matt, in true fashion, I have to thank you for your enthusiasm. So I met Matt when I was leaving grad school and coming back to the Coast Guard. I knew him at the academy, but I re-met him, I should say, when I got assigned to DC. And Matt is like a military historian beyond. He's read, I swear, every book ever written on every war and every conflict. And when we were talking about changing things in the Coast Guard and making a difference, Matt was the guy that was like, oh, well, did you read that in this book? Did you read that in this book? And then this time over here, and I have, oh, you can have this book. I read it already. And he really like rekindled that passion for change, that passion for making a difference in the service in me. When you're in these mid-grade years, right? When your waning years of being a lieutenant, and you start that staff tour. He really, relit that fire in me, and I want to thank you for that, Matt. I want to add Mr. Christian Soto over here, the Honorable Christian Soto. We are in his town. He's a former state representative here. He's also a prior Alumni Achievement Award winner from this. He was also lived across the hall from me my swab summer year, and then he was my roommate, best roommate ever. And I think they put me with him. I had the honor of living with both the regimental commanders while I was here as a cadet. I think that was because they were trying to reform me. They were like, here's some suggestions of the way you should change. But Christian's always been a word of wisdom, a piece of advice on my shoulder, a counsel, and a visionary. And I want to thank you for that, Christian. I appreciate it. We have a lot more to do together. And then I also want to thank Mr. Keith Thomas, the rest of the Coast Guard in the world knows him just by Keith. He's like the one officer I know that is known by his first name. It's Keith. I know somebody in your class. You know Keith? Yeah. A couple different things. I got assigned to the White House, and I got recalled to active duty to go work at the White House and the National Security Council. And Keith was there. Keith carried the nuclear codes. He carried the football, just like his father did before him about 15 years earlier. And I want to, the White House is a interesting beast, right? It doesn't function. It doesn't function like you see on the news, but it doesn't function like. It doesn't function necessarily by textbook either. It's an interesting beast. And a lot of things happen because of the willpower, the initiative, the persistence of getting things done, and the ability to get things in front of people. There's a lot of good ideas there, but some of them never surface because of just the politics, the timing, the things that happen. And so when I was there, I got 7 things signed by the president. And they're now national policy. 5 of them are how we attack other countries in cyberspace militarily. My name is the classifier on the bottom of 5 of those different items. And then I'm the primary author in that National Maritime Cybersecurity Plan, which the Coast Guard is now implementing to secure our maritime ports, which is how the economy of the United States flows, right? 92% of it comes through the water. Those things wouldn't have even surfaced, become on the radar. They never would have made it out of the policy arguments, because everyone knows the government can slow roll things when they want to. They wouldn't have made it out if I didn't have people, if I didn't have Keith, who could, hey, did you guys see that? We should take a look at that thing. Oh, my friend over here, we should look at that. And that's the power of the Alumni Network. And that's the power of what this brings. One last thing, well, not one last thing, but 2 more items. One is there's 2 L's in Heller, and one of my leadership professor from when I was here at the Academy is sitting at my table. And that was then Commander Heller, John Heller. Thank you for sitting there. One award we didn't mention tonight that he does need to receive, and that's Best Hair of the Evening. So pay attention to that. It's a great hair night. So, thank you for being here. In and out of my career, I have reached back to him and said, hey, well, what do we think we're thinking about here? What is the Academy doing in this instance? What do you think I should do in this instance? I wrote my letter of recommendation to get into the University of Pennsylvania, the school that's better than Harvard. So thank you. So I appreciate that. Harvard did Penn did tell me no, but again, I just bothered them enough until they told me yes. But and then finally, I want to thank the Alumni Association for putting this on. The Alumni Association goes stronger by the year. It is so much more than it was when I was a cadet. It needs to do more. It will do more. We will achieve more. It's not lost on me that I'm the youngest person ever to receive this award. I was, an SES in the government before 40, an executive in a Fortune 10 company before 30, or before 40 also. We have so much more to do, and I want to be a part of that. And we will get that done. So I'll leave you with one thought. Don't be dismayed by the brokenness in the world. The brokenness in the world awaits our light. Bears for life. Thank you.
And we're done. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the official program for the Athletic Hall of Fame and Alumni Association Awards Dinner. I invite you to extend your personal congratulations to this year's inductees and award winners. And in good Coast Guard Academy fashion, I'm going to ask Ryan Roslanik to get a work party going and get about 20 chairs over there so we can get, I invite all of the inductees and the award winners to get a group photo that will be in the next edition of the bulletin. So thank you for sharing this very special evening with us, and congratulations to everybody.
A work party.
Yeah.